New Year. Welcome back to the channel. So let's just go ahead and jump into the news because there's a lot to talk about, especially on the political side of the house. So in entertainment news, Dr. Dre was rushed to the hospital. I think the first part of January. They said he had a brain aneurysm. So he was in the hospital for roughly 3 weeks. He was just released, I think, a couple of days ago. He's heading home. He is still battling a divorce with his wife. Supposedly, from what the Shade Room is pushing out now, that he's agreed to pay his wife $2 million in spousal support. $2 million in spousal support. That's a lot of money to give anybody, but I guess spousal support is how that person has lived all their life, and they must maintain that same lifestyle after a divorce. So I guess that is the lifestyle that she's maintaining. So let me know in the comments, what would you do with $2 million a month? Because I don't even know what I would do with $2 million a month. But let me know down in the comments. Also, Lori Harvey and Michael B. Jordan, sorry ladies, they have finally confirmed their relationship, and they're on the road to hopefully one day become man and wife. We'll see what happens. We'll continue to pray for them and make sure they continue on the right path. Those of you who do not know who Lori Harvey is, she is the daughter of comedian Steve Harvey. And if you don't know who Michael B. Jordan is, I don't know where you've been at, but he played in a lot of big movies. One movie, to be exact, I can think off the top of my head real quick, is he played in Black Panther. So if you don't know who he is, Google search him real quick. He'll come up. Lots of people, women love him. Some guys do too. But yes, he's off the market now. Sorry. Let's go ahead and move into the political realm of news so far. So if you've been watching the news, and I know a lot of my people who follow me do not look at the news, but there was a so on January the 6th, if I'm not mistaken, they was going to certify the votes for making President-elect Biden the next president. So Trump went out. He made a rally, I guess you want to call it. And he told these people to come down to Washington, and right before they marched down to the Capitol, he made this big speech that we're going to go down there. I'm going to walk with you all the way down there. We're going to go down there and we're going to make things right. So that fired the crowd up. I think Rudy Giuliani said a few things too that riled the crowd up too. As they made their way down to the Capitol building, from what news report says, it was originally a peaceful rally at first, and then it just went it got out of control. These rioters, or these thugs, or whatever you want to call it, these Trump supporters, these mega supporters, these radical people, they broke the barriers that they had around the Capitol building, and they made their way into the Capitol building while the vote was going on. Luckily, Secret Service got in time. They moved all of the senators out, and then the House of Representatives out. They also moved Vice President Pence out just in time as well, before these people that just came right through the Capitol building. They made their way onto the floor. They made their way down into people's offices. Some people made it down to Nancy Pelosi's office. They sat at her desk. There is a report that says one took her laptop as well and tried to sell it to China. They stole podiums. They just wreaked havoc in the Capitol building. Now they're trying to blame Trump for insinuating this crowd to get them hyped up to do this. I agree. So with that being said, the other day they impeached Trump for the second time. He will go down in history as the only president to be impeached 2 times in his 1 term presidency. I think 4 people ended up dead doing this as well. I feel like we are a world that we have the right to agree and disagree as well. We have the right to protest. We have the right to speak our piece. We have the right to do what we want to do. We do not have the right to tear up stuff because your belief is so heavy that you don't listen to nobody else. President Trump has every right to say the election was rigged. But when they come back and say, hey, there was no evidence to support it, then you have the right to tell people, we investigated, there was no evidence that it was rigged, the election was fair. But Trump did not do that. He continued to be like, it is a rigged election, it is a rigged election. And all I do is just fire up his supporters. And fire up his supporters more and more and more. And that's how we got what we got at the Capitol building on January the 6th. On top of that, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, all of them, they just took President Trump's social media away, because if he don't stop this, it's only going to get worse. We are supposed to swear in President-elect Joe Biden on the 20th. It is 26,000 National Guard troops on the National Mall right now, making sure that would be a safe transition. 26,000 National Guard troops. Because we have a president who cannot simply say, I lost the election. I wish President-elect Biden the most. I wish him all the luck in being president, and do a smooth transition. He just won't do it. And that's why we're in the position we're in as America today. Republicans, some of this lie on you too, because you sat there excuse me, you sat there after the election and allowed these people, allowed the president to sit there and continue to say the election was rigged. I'm not gonna say that I lost the election. And you fed into this. You fed into it like you was babying, or you were babying a child. Don't tell him that he lost yet. You know, he might do something crazy. No, it is time to hold this man responsible for the things that he's done. And if that means impeach him, to take that impeachment to the Senate and just make it so he can't run for president again, that's what we have to do. That, once again, that's why y'all are in the office that we put you in, that we as Americans put you in that office so you can hold the president accountable for things that he or she did wrong.
By mid-morning, thousands of Trump supporters were gathering for a so-called Save America march, not far from the White House. There to protest President Trump's November election defeat, just 14 days before Joe Biden's inauguration. At noon, the president took to the stage, fueling the fire of anger and dissent.
We will never give up. We will never concede. It doesn't happen.
He called on Congress to reject the election results, an election he lost by 7 million votes, but continues to call rigged, despite zero evidence.
We're going to walk down to the Capitol. You'll never take back our country with weakness. You have to show strength, and you have to be strong.
Meanwhile, at the Capitol, armed crowds gathered, and police were grossly underprepared for what was about to happen, despite the known threats posed by some protesters.
Madam Speaker, the Vice President and the United States Senate.
By 1:30, the House and Senate broke off to debate separately after GOP Representative Paul Gosar and Texas Senator Ted Cruz objected to Arizona's electoral college votes for Joe Biden. And Trump supporters were arriving, and the mood had distinctly changed.
Stop the steal! Stop the steal!
Demonstrators soon climbing the walls and scaffolding, violently confronting law enforcement.
It was clear that the crowd was intent on causing harm to our officers by deploying chemical irritants on police.
While inside, the vice president was whisked away by the Secret Service. As the mob moved in, the entire Capitol went into lockdown. But protesters were already inside, some carrying Confederate flags. The law enforcement presence was no match for the sheer size of the invasion, And now many facing criticism as images of them showing little resistance are emerging. This man taking a selfie with a Capitol Police officer as other police stand nearby. In the House chamber, lawmakers huddled in the balcony as armed security barricaded the door. At one point, shots fired. A protester hit. She eventually dies.
And there's now smoke coming from over by the House gallery.
For hours, while his supporters rampaged through the Capitol, breaking onto the Senate floor, into Nancy Pelosi's office, the president said nothing. By 4 o'clock, President-elect Biden publicly called on Trump to stop the mob.
I call on President Trump to go on national television now to fulfill his oath and defend the Constitution and demand an end to this siege.
Minutes later, Trump released a video statement full of lies about the election, but telling them to go home. It was eventually taken down from all social media sites. At 5 o'clock, law enforcement had started reclaiming control of some parts of the Capitol grounds. Multiple sources telling ABC News President Trump repeatedly refused to send in the National Guard before finally agreeing in the late afternoon. 6 o'clock, a citywide curfew ordered by the mayor went into effect. A total of just 14 arrests by Capitol Police, 13 for suspected unlawful entry into the Capitol. D.C. police saying they carried out 26 arrests on Capitol grounds. But much of the Trump-supporting mob simply walked away. A stark contrast from the past summer in Lafayette Park, where largely peaceful Black Lives Matter protesters were met with a military show of force. Physical confrontations. Heavily armed and armored National Guardsmen lined up on the steps of the Lincoln Memorial. The double standard on how law enforcement responded glaringly apparent, and not only in the nation's capital.
To work on making this one America and not two Americas. And that's why I'm gonna leave it at that too. Also, people got these stimulus rate for the New Year too. So I know I got mine's. I think New Year's Eve I got mine's. Yeah, I got mine's New Year's Eve, and the people been getting them. So, hey, good job on the Senate for passing some kind of stimulus package for the people, putting money back into people's hands. I know Joe Biden's stimulus package. Joe Biden's stimulus package is going to be a little bit bigger. I think it's going to add $1,400 to what you already got, so that makes it rounded out to $2,000. So hopefully his stimulus package can get stuff up and running, and hopefully get the economy booming like it was back in the day. They're also starting to give the COVID-19 vaccine now. I haven't took mine yet. I'm still holding out a little bit. I'm one of these people who is kind of hesitant about taking it. Eventually I will. But if you took it, let me know down in the comments below if you took it, if you haven't, and if you had any side effects from it. I'm just afraid that there's going to be some side effects, and I'm going to be just that one is going to get it. But eventually I will take it. Let me know down in the comments whether you took it or not. Lastly, that is about it. January 20th, President-elect Joe Biden and Vice President-elect Kamala Harris will become President and Vice President. Pray for our current president and his current staff to make sure the transition in the next few days is a good transition as well. What else? Continue to pray. Continue to pray for one another. Continue to pray for yourself. I pray that everybody has a great and blessed new year. A blessed 2021. A lot of people said that 20 was a bad year, but some people got a lot of good things out of 20. So we can't say 2020 was bad for everybody. Overall, it was bad, but I don't think it was bad for everybody. Just continue to pray for each other and continue to wear your mask, and I'll see you on the next one. All right? Peace.